Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Ango. In this video, WWE announcing a massive match for WWE Raw. Also, in addition to that, AEW's ratings the worst of all time. Can't believe it. Actually, I could believe it. I'm going to explain why. And then also a massive story here with AEW and Netflix. What's going on? We're going to talk about it all in today's video. If you guys want more, go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget the Ango Show on Twitch. Link in the description. Cody vs. Theory. It's happening tonight on Monday Night Raw. Hours before WWE Raw goes live. If you're watching this video for the U.S. Championship belt, we're going to see Cody Rhodes take on Austin Theory. And guys, there's no wrestling podcaster, there's no YouTuber, there's no Twitch streamer, there is no comment in here that will change my mind. You cannot go wrong with this match. I see a lot of people are complaining about it or whatnot. Maybe it's too soon. I don't know. But I have two reasons for why I think this is good either way. One, first and foremost, Austin Theory can win thanks to Seth Rollins defeating Cody Rhodes. I don't think it makes sense for WWE to build up a very, very long streak of matches for Cody to be undefeated. I think at some point it's inevitable that he loses, and it should happen at the hands of Seth Rollins, which could obviously inevitably set up Hell in a Cell. So first and foremost, if they want, WWE can do that. They can have Seth Rollins, get interfered, or he can interfere in this match. He can get to the point where he screws over Cody. Cody loses, and then Austin Theory gets the rub by working with Cody Rhodes, because obviously this is going to be a highly rated segment. Number two, you got to remember, Cody and Theory have not wrestled before. However, Seth Rollins does have an attachment to Theory based on their history, so they can do a callback, historically speaking. If you guys remember the Monday Night Messiah, the first time that Theory was on the main roster, there's obviously a callback there. So that's another reason why it makes sense. Number three, another reason why people cannot actually change my mind here is because if they really want, they could just give the belt to Cody Rhodes. I made a video on this. We talked about this on the Ango Show months ago before Cody signed. And one of the big things I said in that video was WWE should give Cody Rhodes a championship belt and let him make the U.S. Championship actually mean something. So either way, you can have Cody lose. And it's logical because not only does Austin Theory get the rub, which would make sense because he's getting a massive push, but two, you got Seth Rollins involved, and now you tell the story, which is even better. And then also, if you don't want that to happen, you can have Cody win the belt and just be a great champion until it's time for him to be a world champion. And I think either way makes a lot of sense. And now you can even have Cody win the belt, never lose the belt. And what did I say in that video? I said he can never drop the belt. He could just relinquish it. And once he does that, that would be massive, Again, you can't go wrong with the booking here. I'm all about it. I support it 1,000%. Now, with that being said, I do want to turn our attention to the AEW Rampage ratings. Yes, this is some interesting stuff to me. I see a lot of people panicking. I don't know why. This is always happening. But yes, it is true. Rampage drew 282,000 viewers on Friday. And obviously, for those who don't know, AEW Rampage was on earlier than normal. They were on at 6 p.m. Eastern. And, the thing is, this was a very, very low viewership for the show. And they obviously moved up in the time slot because the NHL playoffs, and then you got NBA. You got a lot of competition. But the great thing here is that, first and foremost, this was a change that we're not going to expect too often. So the change for Rampage, it's going to be moved around on Fridays or Saturdays. We have seen that historically speaking. Rampage, the viewership will change. It's not going to go back up to 1 million viewers. It's a long ways away until that happens. But I think the most important thing here, it just goes to show you that not everybody moves with the time slot. Especially when you think about it, 6 p.m. Eastern time, what is that West Coast? That's, 3 o'clock, right? 3 p.m. Pacific time. So, it's expected. I honestly think this is expected. It's not something to worry about. Yes, is it true, statistically speaking, that this is the worst viewership all time for AEW? That is accurate, yes. But just because that is accurate doesn't mean that people need to start panicking or whatnot. And this is why I don't like the viewership talk. But ultimately, I do want to let you guys know that the viewership did drop. Again, nothing to be concerned about. Now, next week, if they go back to a regular time slot and whatever, and we constantly see this happen, then obviously there might be a change. But I would expect no changes here. I think they knew exactly what was going on. And most importantly, the thing that intrigues me here, and I think the thing that most people need to be worried about is the priority level, right? Because obviously NBA and NHL, I think they are viewed more importantly to the television network than AEW is. Now, What does that mean for the overall scope of things? That's what I want to find out. That's what I want to know. With that being said, let's talk about AEW and Netflix, because guys, this is some really cool stuff. This is the important stuff. This is the stuff that I have been saying for a really long time. People need to they need to pay attention to this stuff. So Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander, they're going to be on a show on Netflix. It's called The Floor is Lava. It's kind of like a contestant-based show. Essentially, the way that this way, like, it's kind of like a skill-based, like, challenge type of thing. I don't want to compare it to Wipeout, but it's kind of like Wipeout. The idea is that you got to go past the level, right, or whatever it is, and the course, and you can't fall on the floor because the floor is lava. And it's obviously based on the childhood game that I think almost every single one of us have played when we were kids. But the idea here is that AEW will have a few of its stars in the show. And this is obviously a really good thing for AEW, because AEW having their stars appear on other outlets is what's going to get people introduced to AEW. Now, I'm not saying somebody is watching The Floor is Lava on Netflix and their first thing is, oh, who's this Orange Cassidy guy? Let me go watch AEW. But if there's anything that I have noticed about wrestling in general, when the wrestlers appear on other television networks, other shows, right, they are always referred to as the show that they're from. So, hey, Becky Lynch from WWE Raw. Sasha Banks was recently in the MLB, and they represented her as WWE, women's tag team champion. So, like, at the end of the day, I think that is the most important aspect of this all. So the cool thing is, when somebody like Orange Cassidy or Chris Statlander show up on Netflix on this show, people are going to know that AEW is on this show. It's going to cause people to be curious. What is AEW? And of course, if there's any talks about wrestling or AEW in general, that will also be another reason why people will tune in. I have been saying for a very long time, it's incredibly important for AEW to be involved in some capacity with other shows. It's like John Cena is the host of Wipeout, right? I think that's the show that he's the host of on TBS. Like, AEW people need to be doing that. We saw Cody Rhodes when he was in AEW. He was he was hosting, or he was judging the Go Big show. So things like that just need to be a common thing. It shouldn't be rare whatsoever. But I'm all about it. This is great news for AEW. And, I've always said that Orange Cassidy could be a really, really good star for AEW in terms of that mainstream cultural, pop culture type thing, that crossover. I look forward to seeing this. It's a nice change of pace for Netflix, who is producing content these days. I want to see Orange Cassidy on there. I hope things look good, and hopefully it's funny, and hopefully it's a good look for AEW. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'll see you next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.